In the darkness of despair, there's always a flicker of hope. Hold on to that light, and it will guide you towards healing. Again, in the darkness of despair, there's always a flicker of hope. Hold on to that light, and it will guide you towards healing. Hello, good morning, everyone. Sharon Ann here. Allow me the opportunity to introduce myself. I'm a blogger. I love writing poetry and performing my works at Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, and open mic nights in my community. I know that kind of makes me like a poetry freak or a book nerd, but whatever. Haha. I love doing 5K walks and runs, both for fitness and to raise funds for charity events. Most of all, I'm passionate about all things mental health. Anyway, I wanted to come on today asking you, are you battling anxiety, depression, dissociation, or dissociative disorders, to include DID from past childhood abuse? I know that's a pretty broad question. Anyway, I wanted to come on today asking you, if you are a man or woman battling anxiety, depression, dissociation, or dissociative disorders, to include dissociative identity from past abuse, are you battling the aftermath of trauma that has you experiencing varying degrees of fight, flight, freeze, and fawn? Talk about alliteration. I know that question is very broad too. If you answered yes to any of these questions, I want you to know that in the darkness of despair, there's always a flicker of hope. Again, in the darkness of despair, there's always a flicker of hope. You see, darkness in terms of trauma keeps us in the repeated pattern of playing our abuse over and over again. Darkness keeps us in victim mentality, survival mode, experiencing high degrees of self-doubt and self-sabotage, something I'm sure many of us can relate to. Darkness in terms of trauma can even have the ability to get us thinking we are not good for anything, that our trauma becomes our identity. Pretty sad, but I've been there myself. I'll go ahead and share here. I recall one of my very first jobs working in the medical field. I was doing some filing and scanning documents for a company, but neither of their patients' records kept up to date. I loved the job since it was just me and my thoughts all day in a tiny room the size of a walk-in closet. Something pretty good for those with DID, because many people with DID have a hard time being around others. I often kept to myself a lot. I was shy, quiet, and didn't say much, but I sure had a lot on my mind. When my coworkers would come into the room to check on me, I would be frozen in place, unable to move or say anything. Pretty much like I was paralyzed. Lots of times, all I could do was shake my head no, or nod my head yes. Sometimes, it was like the faces of my coworkers were the exact same face as my abuser. Pretty weird. I remember being in survivor mode then. I was going to work, attending Wednesday night and Sunday night church services, yet if it was as if someone else was living my life for me. I was just a puppet out there for a little bit, then gone in the blink of an eye. Almost like the boogeyman, or the boogie person. Anyway, now back to that message about a flicker of hope. A wise individual, my therapist, he used to tell me that hope has us believing that there's light at the end of the tunnel, that we are worth great things in life. Hope has us reaching for the stars. Thank you, therapist. You know who you are. Ladies and gentlemen, what's past stays in the past, and what's present stays in the present. Again, ladies and gentlemen, what's past stays in the past, and what's present stays in the present. It's important to work through the challenging times in life, to restore the broken parts of our life, to hear our inner child that experiences hurt and rejection time and time again. It's important to know breakthroughs are possible in life, and breakthroughs are possible for all trauma survivors. May you all remember, once again, in the darkness of despair, there's always a flicker of hope. Again, in the darkness of despair, there's always a flicker of hope. Hold on to the light, and it will guide you towards healing. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.